Hello students. In today's session we are going to see about the design process of embedded system part 2. So we have seen the design process of global positioning tracker. So in that we have seen the requirement form. Now we are going to see about the specification. So the specification is nothing but the contract between the customer and architecture. So here the requirement is the informal communication from the customer. So actually what customer need, that is the informal communication which is collected from the public through the designer team. Okay, so this informal communication should be converted to the technical one. So the specification serves the contract between your customer and architecture. So your specification should be very clear so that the entire team should verify your specification. Based on the specification, technical information only, they are about to design your system. So the designer can run into several different types of problem caused by the unclear specification. So if you are missing any specification or if you mention any wrong specification, means the entire architecture derived from the specification or product that is developed for design may be the wrong one. So we must be very careful about the specification. So this is the specification of global positioning system. So the global positioning system should receive the data from the satellite constellation. Then it has to map the data through the user interface. So operation that must be performed to satisfy the customer require. So if customer is requesting for the place or some restaurant or some roadway or anything, it has to satisfy the customer require. So the background action required to keep the system running, such as operating the GPS receiver. So the next one is architecture design. So the architecture design is the block diagram of your design process. So how the component is connected, all your hardware component and software component. So what are the components or units we need to design a global positioning system, that we have to do it on the architecture design. So this is the architecture of your GPS system. So it includes the database, user interface, GPS receiver, search engine, then display. So here they are not separating which is hardware device and which is software device. So it is a general block diagram of your GPS system. So the GPS receiver is receiving the data from the satellite, and through the search engine we can able to search the places. So if I want to search for the Savita Engineering College, so from the Ayapandanga, so I have to search it for Savita Engineering College. So my search engine will take the data from the database. So it can be already available topographical data, or uh, it can be taken from the Google Map. So through the search engine, we can find the information. So the user interface will type the information through the renderer. This renderer will get the data from the search engine and it will display on the display device, that is LCD display. So here some of the hardware part of the architecture design. So after designing the block diagram, we have to separate the component, which is going to be a hardware and which is going to be a software. So based on the hardware part and software part, we can design the component cost or product cost. So here some of the hardware component of your GPS system is, of course, the GPS receiver, that is the hardware, then panel input output, then processor, then memory, then frame buffer, then display unit. So these are the some of the hardware component of your GPS. So these are the some of the software component. So once after separating the hardware and software component, so the different two teams, that is hardware team as well as software team, started working on both the part. So here your hardware and software architecture design should satisfy both functional and non-functional requirements. So if you want to adjust with the non-functional requirement like performance or cost or weight, you need to compensate with the hardware part. So if you want to satisfy with the functional requirement, or if you want to make some adjustment with the functional requirement, so you should do some correction in your software part. So then designing the hardware and software. So the next one is designing hardware and software component. So once after architecture of hardware and software component, we need to design the hardware and software component. So here the major part is whether we are going to use the predefined part or we are going to design the actual part of a hardware or software component that we are going to design. So for example, if you are using the FPGA as a hardware component, whether we are going to use the predefined one or else we are going for designing of the FPGA boards or any other processor. So here we are using the GPS receiver of the hardware component. So now we are going to design our GPS receiver, not we are going to purchase which is already available in the market. Then we are going for the software component. So here we are buying the some topographical data which got already existed. So which has the information of standard road map and topographical analogy. So here we are going to buy it as a predefined one. Then finally we are came into the system integration part. So after designing hardware and software component, we are going for the system integration. Part is very critical because this part covers while integrating the hardware and software component, we finds more bugs and we do not know how to cover this bugs. So we have to divide the system by modules. So by covering and by testing each modules and by covering the simple bugs, we need to solve the major problem. So which thing is correct and how we can rectify the bugs. So this one we must be very confident. Then only we can clear the bugs and we can able to integrate all our system which is work to meet our actual specification. So this is the entire process of the designing of embedded system. Thank you.